The system glitches. A mother tried calling 3 times. You hung up 3 times.
I just didn't feel like working.
Thanks for tuning in to Haitian Rude Gal World. Welcome to my channel, it's Ninja Bay. Miami born, but the roots don't play. Haitian blood run deep in my veins. Zoe for real, me know have to explain.
Miss Williams, step away from the console.
Excuse me, I'm working.
The logs say otherwise.
And
The system glitches. A mother tried calling 3 times. You hung up 3 times.
I just didn't feel like working.
Stand up right now.
I didn't feel like working that day. That was Crenshonda Latrice Williams, 23 years old, 18 months on the job as a 911 dispatcher for Harris County, Texas. And in that moment, sitting at her console on the 5th floor of the Emergency Communications Center on Travis Street in downtown Houston, she had just admitted to failing a family in the worst way imaginable. What investigators had uncovered in the weeks leading up to this confrontation was a pattern so callous, so indifferent to human suffering, that seasoned detectives struggled to process it. 47 emergency calls over 10 months, medical emergencies, domestic violence, car accidents on I-10 and the Katy Freeway, each one answered by Crenshonda Williams, each one disconnected within seconds. But it was the Williams calls, 3 desperate pleas from a mother trying to save her 4-month-old son, that would send this case to trial, to national news, and ultimately to a prison cell in Gatesville, Texas. 18 months in state prison. A $1.4 million settlement paid by Harris County taxpayers. And a mother who will never stop asking why her son never had a chance because someone couldn't be bothered to do her job. Before we continue, have you ever called 911 and wondered if someone was actually listening? Let us know in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Crenshonda Latrice Williams was born in March 1999 in 3rd Ward, Houston. Her mother, Patricia, worked as a dental hygienist at a clinic on Wheeler Avenue. Steady work, decent benefits, home by 6 most nights. Her father, Darnell, drove long haul for Werner Enterprises, hauling freight across Texas. He was gone 2 weeks out of every month, sometimes 3. She was the middle child. Older brother Darnell Jr., younger sister Keisha. They shared a 2-bedroom apartment off Scott Street, cramped but clean. The AC window unit ran all summer and barely kept up with the Houston heat. Patricia kept the place spotless, but 3rd Ward was 3rd Ward. She was pretty. Everyone said so. By middle school, she'd learned that being pretty opened doors. Teachers were kinder. Boys paid attention. Girls wanted to be close to her. She never had to try hard at anything. Things just worked out. At Jack Yates High School, she floated through the social hierarchy without effort. Homecoming court junior year, prom court senior year, an Instagram following of 2,000 before graduation. Impressive for 2017. She posted selfies, got likes,
Bonjour,
got comments.
bonsoir. Thanks for tuning in to Haitian Rude Girls World. Good morning or good night, whatever time you are watching this. And y'all have to go follow Body Cam Horror on YouTube or whatever platform they got them on, because they got some nice stories like this. This is a very informative story.
She posted
so
selfies,
y'all listen
got likes,
and tune
got
in.
comments, got the attention she craved. Her teachers were less impressed. She was bright but easily distracted, one wrote. Another noted strong verbal skills but inconsistent effort. A third observed she was more interested in social life than academics, and frequently on her phone during class. She graduated in 2017 with a 2.4 GPA and no particular plan for what came next. College lasted 1 semester. Houston Community College, fall of 2017. She enrolled in general studies, thinking vaguely about business or communications. She stopped showing up by October, stopped responding to emails from her advisor by November. It wasn't for me, she told her mother. What followed was a string of retail jobs that never stuck. Forever 21 at the Galleria, 3 months. She quit because the manager had an attitude. Ulta Beauty in Memorial City, 4 months. She quit because she was tired of standing all day. A brief stint at a call center in Greenway Plaza, 6 weeks. She walked out mid-shift because a customer raised his voice. She was 20 years old, living at home, making $9 an hour when she bothered to work at all. Her mother was running out of patience. "You need a real job," Patricia told her. "Benefits, stability, something you can build a life on." In early 2022, Crenshonda saw a posting for the Harris County Emergency Services District. 911 dispatcher. Starting pay, $17.25 an hour. Full benefits. Pension eligibility after 5 years. She applied online, mostly to get her mother off her back. 112 people applied for 8 positions. She passed the written exam, passed the background check, passed the drug screening, passed the psychological evaluation. The evaluators noted she was poised under simulated pressure with strong communication skills and a professional demeanor. One wrote she demonstrated appropriate empathy during role-play scenarios. Another observed she appeared motivated and engaged throughout the assessment process. They offered her the job in February 2022. She started in March. 6 weeks of training at the Harris County Emergency Communications Center on Travis Street in downtown Houston. She learned call protocols, CAD systems, multi-line management, radio codes, crisis de-escalation techniques. She learned how to keep a caller calm while dispatching an ambulance, how to guide a panicked parent through emergency procedures over the phone, how to talk someone through a medical crisis, how to stay on the line with someone in distress until officers arrived, how to be the voice between chaos and rescue. She learned that when someone dials 911, they are almost always experiencing the worst moment of their life, and she would be the first person they reached. On April 15, 2022, she was assigned to the 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. shift. Station 7, console facing the east wall, headset, dual monitors, a laminated quick reference card, a direct line to every ambulance, fire truck, and patrol car in Harris County. She was 22 years old. She was responsible for lives. For the first few months, she did her job. The Harris County Emergency Communications Center serves 4.7 million residents, the largest county in Texas and the third largest in the United States. On any given shift, 187 dispatchers work rotating schedules across 48 consoles in a facility the size of a football field. They handle an average of 8,200 calls per day. Medical emergencies, domestic disputes, house fires, cardiac events, car accidents on I-10 and the 610 loop and the Katy Freeway and Highway 290. Missing children, suspicious persons, welfare checks on elderly relatives who haven't answered the phone in days. When someone in Houston dials 911, they reach this room. The people who work here are not paramedics. They are not police officers. They carry no badge, no gun, no medical kit. They sit at a desk with a headset and a screen. And yet, they are the first point of contact between a citizen in crisis and the help that might save their life. They guide panicked parents through emergency procedures. They keep distressed callers talking until officers arrive. They dispatch ambulances to medical calls and pray they get there in time. It is a job that requires focus, empathy, and calm under pressure. The system was built on one foundational assumption, that the person answering the call would actually listen, that they would stay on the line, that they would do their job.
Now that's the bottom of the least a dispatcher should do. Is
You
listen
couldn't
to
do
the call.
anything. Mobley pulled the audio files. Every 911 call in Harris County is recorded, every single one. What he heard made him physically ill, caller after caller, mid-sentence, mid-scream, mid-plea, then silence. "My husband is hurting me. Please send someone to..." Click. "There's been an accident on the freeway. I think someone's injured." Click. "I can't feel my left arm. I think I'm having a..." Click. And then the Williams calls, a mother's voice, rising from confusion to panic to desperate screaming. 3 calls, 3 clicks, a family's nightmare on the other end of the line. Mobley forwarded the files to his supervisor that afternoon. Internal Affairs was notified within the hour. The Texas Rangers were brought in the following day. Crenshonda Williams was placed on administrative leave on September 19, 2023. 2 days later, she was brought to the Internal Affairs Office for questioning. Investigator Raymond Gaines and Texas Ranger Pauline Vickers were waiting. They played her the audio, the Williams calls, a mother begging for help. Her own voice, bored and flat, before each disconnect. "The system glitches all the time," she said. "Calls drop. It's not my fault." They played it again, her voice. 911, what's your emergency? Then the click. Long pause. "I didn't feel like working that day." They asked about the other 46 calls. She shrugged. "Sometimes I just didn't feel like talking." September 18th, 2023, 2:22 p.m. The day before the formal interview. Crenshonda Williams at Station 7. First hour of her shift. Iced Starbucks on the desk. Phone face down beside the keyboard. Headset draped around her neck, not on her ears. Internal Affairs investigator Raymond Gaines walked across the floor toward her station. Texas Ranger Pauline Vickers beside him, both in plain clothes, both with badges visible. Every dispatcher on the floor watched. "Crenshonda Williams," Gaines's voice was flat. "Step away from the console." She looked up, rolled her eyes. "Excuse me, I'm working." 47 hang-ups, your login, your headset, your voice on every recording. Arms crossed, neck rolled. "And the system glitches. Calls drop all the time." Vickers stepped forward. "A family lost their baby. Mother called 3 times. You hung up 3 times." Crenshonda's jaw tightened. She looked away. "I didn't feel like working that day. Stand up, now." She was escorted from the communications center in handcuffs. 31 colleagues watched in silence. Badge confiscated. Access card deactivated. Console locked. At 4:47 p.m., she was booked at Harris County Jail on Baker Street. Charges: 2 counts of interference with emergency telephone calls, normally a misdemeanor, elevated to a state jail felony due to the resulting tragedy. 1 count reckless conduct. 1 count dereliction of duty. Bond was set at $100,000. Her mother posted 10% through a bondsman the next morning. The state of Texas formally indicted Crenshonda Latrice Williams in October 2023. The trial began February 12, 2024, at the Harris County Criminal Courthouse on Franklin Street. Judge Catherine Okonkwo presiding. 23 years on the bench, known for being fair but unsparing. Assistant District Attorney Michael Treadwell for the prosecution. 15-year veteran of the office. He had a 4-year-old daughter at home. Public Defender Simone Ashford for the defense. She argued systemic failures, inadequate training, a broken system that allowed one dispatcher to hang up 47 times without triggering a single flag. The prosecution did not need arguments. They played the audio. The jury heard the Williams calls on the first day of testimony. Courtroom silent. 12 jurors in the box. Denise Williams in the gallery, clutching a photograph of Jalen. 911, what's your emergency? My baby, he's not okay. Please. Click. Several jurors closed their eyes. One wiped her face. They heard the second call. The third. A mother screaming into a void. One juror requested a recess. The judge granted it. Denise Williams took the stand on February 14th, Valentine's Day. She held a photograph of Jalen in her lap, the only photo she had of him smiling. "I called 3 times, she said. 3 times, and she hung up while my baby needed help." Tears now. "I did everything right. I called 911. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what they tell you." She paused. "I will never know if he could have been saved. If I had just driven to the hospital myself from the start. I will never stop asking why." The defense had no cross-examination. There was nothing to ask. The jury deliberated for 47 minutes. 1 minute for each hang-up. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was handed down on March 8, 2024. Judge Catherine Okonkwo addressed the defendant directly. "Ms. Williams, you were entrusted with the most sacred responsibility a civilian can hold in our society, to be the voice between crisis and rescue. When a citizen dials 911, they are placing their life in the hands of a stranger. They are trusting that someone will answer, that someone will listen, that someone will send help." She paused. "You betrayed that trust 47 times. You treated that responsibility as an inconvenience. You treated human suffering as an interruption to your day. A 4-month-old baby is gone because you, in your own words, didn't feel like working. She looked at the defendant. The callousness of that statement will stay with this court forever. Sentence: 18 months in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, to be served at the Lane Murray Unit in Gatesville. 10 years supervised probation upon release. Lifetime ban from employment in emergency services anywhere in the United States. $52,000 restitution to the Williams family. Crenshonda Williams showed no visible reaction. She was handcuffed and led from the courtroom without looking back. She reported to Lane Murray Unit on March 22, 2024. Inmate number 02-17-4893. A women's facility 180 miles northwest of Houston. Eligible for parole after 6 months. Expected release, September 2025. The Williams family filed a lawsuit against Harris County in November 2023. The county settled in April 2024 for $1.4 million. Taxpayer money, no admission of liability. As part of the settlement, Harris County agreed to implement new monitoring protocols. Supervisors now receive real-time alerts for any call disconnected under 10 seconds. Call duration patterns are reviewed weekly instead of quarterly. Dispatchers must document a reason for every disconnection. Denise Williams has not returned to work. She moved out of the apartment on Westheimer Road. She couldn't stay where everything happened. She attends counseling twice a week. She has declined all media interviews except one. She said only this: "I did everything right. I called for help. I trusted the system. And my son is gone because someone didn't feel like doing her job." Crenshonda Williams will be released from prison before Jalen Williams would have celebrated his 2nd birthday. She will serve less than 2 years for what her actions cost a family. Stories like this don't get the attention they deserve. If you want to see more accountability coverage, subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to Haitian Rude Gal World. Welcome to my channel, it's Ninja Bay. Miami born, but the roots don't play. Haitian blood run deep in my veins. Zoe for real, me know how to explain. Thanks for tuning in to Haitian Rude Gal World. Welcome to my channel, it's Ninja Bay. Miami born, but the roots don't play. Haitian blood run deep in my veins. Zoe for real, me know how to explain.